Welcome to Mr. Rollin's Storytime. Today's story is one of my favourites for the visuals it offers children. It's also got some really lovely pages in terms of the actual feel of the book. So if you can get this book from the library, I do suggest you also use that to read along with. The book is Leaf by Sandra Dieckmann. Leaf by Sandra Dieckmann. Crow saw it first, the strange white creature carried upon the dark waves towards the shore. It was unlike anything the animals of the wild wood had seen before. It made its home in an old overgrown cave on the hill. No one had lived there for as long as they could remember, and no one dared approach it now. Stomping around the forest, the creature collected leaves every day. Big leaves and small leaves, round leaves and colourful ones. As he looked around the forest with a searching eye, the animals would flee in fear. Run! They named him Leaf, not only after the creature's odd habits, but because they wanted him to leave. No one, they thought, should have to live in fear. Every day they discussed the stranger, but no one was brave enough to talk to him. And if you look, all of the animals have got something to say. The badger is saying, "Needs to go." The crows are not sure. Seagull over here, "A ghost." The fox, "Huge." Beaver over here, "Monster." One day, Fox called out to the other animals as Leaf burst through the forest. He ran very fast and was covered in hundreds of beautiful leaves. They'd never seen anything like it. "Look!" cries the little gopher. And look at Leaf's the plumage. With a giant roar, Leaf leapt over the edge of the hill and flew, for a moment at least, before tumbling down into the lake. Soaking wet, the beast stomped back to hide once again in the dark cave. Look at that visual at night time. Leaf's there feeling sad. The crows and ravens are all around him, and the moon shining really, really bright. A meeting was called to decide what to be done about this strange situation. The crow suggested talking to him. "He's lost. He looks sad. Let's help." "I think he's beautiful." "No." "He's dangerous, destructive. Have you seen his teeth?" But everyone looked to the ground and shook their heads. So they decided nothing. Only that they didn't agree. A few weeks passed, and Leaf burst out of the cave again. This time he didn't stop running at the hill, but ran all the way through the wild wood to the edge of the great cliff. He jumped off and flew. He's flying. He's going to make it this time. I don't think he made it though. The sea spat him out, just like the day he arrived. Only now the clever crows decided it was time to talk to the very sad and lonely Leaf. They let him speak, and at last they listened. Leaf told them how he had drifted over from far across the sea, where the ice was melting. After all, He was only a polar bear, wanted to go back home to his family. Just someone who wished to could fly back home. How silly they had all been for not talking to him sooner. And so it was decided the crows would help Leaf and fly him home. And the animals promised to tell Leaf's story to everyone who would listen, so that no polar bear would ever get lost again. I love this picture of the crows all helping the polar bear. Can you tell which one's Leaf at the end? You're right, it might be this one. With a lovely headscarf of leaves. The end. Now, this story is a very good one. It has lovely visuals there for you to draw on. I would suggest, as always, sequencing the story, splitting the story up into the key sort of 5 or perhaps 6 parts, and using time words first, then, next, after that, finally, in which to order the story. It will really help with building up your knowledge of how the story goes and the sequence of it. Secondly, this story tells this tale of the polar bear that gets lost and goes into the wild wood. Perhaps you could do some research on why he has to do that. Obviously it mentions in the story that the polar ice caps were melting. Perhaps you could look at that and look at potential changes in the climate as well that links well to this story.